Let's take a look at the action for Thursday in the NBA. 4 games on, a couple of teams playing their second game. We're paying attention, we're streaming, we're listening to Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and our Abbey is not to be used as an escape. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and you can find me on Twitter, as always, at redrock_bball, on TikTok at redrock_bball, and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Start the season with a big return on FanDuel. Place your first $5 bet and get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Go to FanDuel.com to get started. Thank you also for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We are free. We're available on all platforms. We've also got newsletters now. Go to Locked On Daily for your favorite team's newsletter from your favorite team's podcast. You're going to see a little bit from me in there, in every one of those newsletters as well. LockedOnDaily.com. All right, we are here to talk about Thursday's games. We've got 4 of them on. That means we have got 8 teams playing. 2 of them have already played in Boston and Minnesota, and we talked about this as the early 2-for-1 stream on those teams, plus the remaining 6 teams that won't play on Wednesday. So let's dig in and pay attention to what is on my radar, what we're looking at streaming-wise, and all that stuff. It is important to note when talking about streaming, and this ties into some things that people have this idea about, and this guy, we had a bit of an argument with someone. That's all right. We get back and forth. We get passionate about fantasy. So people know that I don't like the sleeper format as a general rule, but I also don't like the sleeper platform in that it restricts what you can do. And the arrogance of thinking that they've fixed fantasy basketball, and then the format that they thought fixed it, they've discontinued because it was bad. But anyway, that's a side point. When we're talking about streaming, and this goes with anything we're doing in fantasy, we talk about variance so much on this channel, is that we can look at a guy and go, we project he's going to do this, but like Jaden McDaniels, pretty good spot, low rostered, did nothing, got into foul trouble, 5 fouls. That's part of the reason that sleeper format is terrible in terms of the lock-in, because the league is not a 1 game per week league. That is just random. There's massive amounts of randomness. You can't figure out the game that Jaden McDaniels will play 16 minutes. You can't. It's literally impossible to do. So when we're talking about these stream guys, some of them are going to bust, some of them are going to bang. It's just how we do. We look at probabilities, we look at likelihoods, which of course is the same thing as probabilities. We just try and see, like, is this guy going to have a bigger role? Is he proportionally not rostered enough? Is there more assists available, more shots available, more minutes available? And that's where we play it. That's what we like to do. And that, over the long term, turns out to be, I believe, a winning fantasy basketball strategy. The first game is one of those teams that is coming in for their second game of the season. It is the Boston Celtics. Of course, they destroyed the Knicks, and now there's a 12.5-point margin here between them and the Wizards. So I would expect, doesn't always happen this way, but you would expect there's a little bit of garbage time that happens in this one. The Celtics play 2 more games this week, Thursday, Saturday. So do the Wizards. It's only a 2-game week for them. Boston plays 4 the week after. Washington plays 3 in week 2. In terms of guys are out, and someone was like, hey, Josh, when you're doing those injury displays on YouTube, maybe just don't capitalize all the players, because then the injury designation next to them maybe runs in a little bit, and I get that. So I tried a little bit here. We did regular lowercase on the player names plus capitalization on the injury status. I hope that is better. Porzingis will be out. Slammer Sammy Hauser popped up on the injury report as questionable, so if he is out, they're probably going to have to use a Jordan Walsh. It wouldn't be as valuable as Hauser, but watch that one. Brogdon is out for the Wizards, and Alex Sarr, who missed the last 2 preseason games for the Wizards, he is available to play for his first game. What we do want to watch for Boston is Payton Pritchard. He won't shoot 11% every game, obviously, but it's more about what role they use him in. Is he 22 minutes in a competitive game? Not that we'll figure that out here. Or is he 17 minutes? How do they use him, and is that enough to hold? I don't think it will be, but of course, with a 4-game day on, you can. On the Wizards side, it's Alex Sarr. It's his first NBA action. I'm assuming he will play at power forward and not center. How does he shoot? What is he doing in terms of involvement offensively? How does the shot blocking look? Is he 27 minutes? Is he 31 minutes? Is he 15 usage? Is he 20 usage? They're really key things to determine where we're at with Sarr. The stream guys, it is Payton Pritchard on the Boston side of things. We're looking at, again, players with an under 45% rostered on our advanced metric. And then for Washington, it's Bilal Coulibaly, who I think just should be on a roster. I don't know how it's going to work for him, but I'm pretty confident he will start. He'll probably play 30-plus minutes. He might get you 1.4 steals and 0.8 blocks, whatever. I think he should be rostered, and he is available in a lot of different spots, which was, I think, somewhat surprising to me. The second game of the day for Thursday is two teams that haven't played yet. That's the English. Texas represent. Spurs go to take on the Mavericks. The Mavericks are 7.5-point favorites in this one. Both of these teams with identical schedules. They play Thursday, Saturday this week, and then 4 games in week 2. At the moment, the only injuries we have are Devin Vassell out for the Spurs and Dante Exum out for the Mavericks, and they're both long-term injuries. What do I want to watch on the Spurs? Well, we saw Mike Conley yesterday for the Wolves look terrible. Chris Paul is older. How does he look? But more importantly, how do they use him? 24 minutes? 30 minutes? He played 25 a night for the Warriors last season, but he was a bench player. I don't think he's a bench player here, so what do they do with him and Castle and Jones? Really key. If he's 24 minutes a night, you probably don't roster him. So let's watch it. For the Mavericks, it's Klay Thompson. Is Klay a 30-minute a night player? 27, 33. Does he close? What does he do if he's not getting the ball? Where does his usage fit going from the number 2 guy to the number 3 guy this season? All big questions. Stream guys, with the absence of Devin Vassell, that should mean more shots for the horse, Keldon Johnson. So even in a category league, think of him as the Spurs' Rui Hachimura, a guy that needs shots and minutes to be able to produce category league value, even though Rui did more stuff defensively yesterday. Keldon's the same, and there is an opportunity here for more from him. And on the Dallas side, this is deeper league stuff. Najee Marshall, he's going to get 20-plus minutes. He might luck into 3 threes and 2 steals. But that's just about finding someone that you know's got a role, whose fantasy game is okay without being a dominant type setup. The next game is really a battle of two teams that could easily win the West. The Oklahoma City Thunder goes to Denver. I was shocked at the line on this one, thanks to FanDuel. Also shocked on the line at the second game, or the next game after this. The Nuggets are 2.5-point favorites. I know they're at home, and I know it's a tough place to go to. But the Nuggets did not look good in preseason. The Thunder are the Thunder. They were better than the Nuggets last season. The Nuggets are 2.5-point favorites. Now, a general rule of thumb is that when you were at home, you were given a default 3-point favoritism tag. Like you're at home, 3 points. So I guess the market is thinking that OKC is half a point better. I disagree with that. I think they're 3 points better, 2 points better maybe. So that line is weird. We'll see. Honestly, I am not a full-time gambler, but that just strikes me as a little smelly. The Thunder are the only team with 3 games left. From Thursday onwards, they go Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, and then 3 the following week, whereas the Nuggets go Thursday, Saturday, and then 4 the following week. Injury-wise, we know that Isaiah Hartenstein is out, Kenrich Williams is out for OKC, but both the Williamses, both the Jalen Williamses, the Bronco and the Pig, are both questionable. Now, the Pig Williams, Jalen Williams, Vietnamese legend Williams, the tall one, that's important. Obviously, Jalen Williams is the Broncos a better player, but they don't have the center depth. So if Pig Williams, tall Williams plays, then we're talking about a guy that in deeper leagues will have some value. I'm very confident that Bronco Jalen Williams will play. I'm not really worried about it, but if he does miss, it'll be more for Joe, it'll be more for Wiggins, it'll be more for probably Jeng, maybe even like a Dylan Jones gets into the rotation. But we know they're missing Hartenstein, and how they replace him is going to be intriguing, because if Jalen Williams, the big one, Jalen, does not play, it's going to be Jeng at center, I'm guessing, unless they go with Alex Reese. I don't know. They're in some strife in that situation. So what am I watching? I want to see the Bronco. Does he play? Number 1, of course. But secondly, with Jalen Williams, what happens? With no Josh Giddey, and he was a decent usage player, does Williams' usage go up? Does Williams' playmaking go up? Does Williams' 3-point attempt rate, despite being a 40% shooter, he doesn't take any of them, he needs to bump that up. Will he? We'll find out. And for the Nuggets, how do they use Russell Westbrook? Does Westbrook play 20 minutes, 18 minutes backing up Jamal Murray? How much do they cross over? Does Westbrook play more than Christian Brown, who's allegedly a starter? I'm not sure. In terms of the stream, guys, Lou Dort is going to get the minutes there, and he's available everywhere. Now, he's not very good. We know this. He can struggle at times with percentages, but this is a 30-minute-a-night starter almost definitely, and that really is strong for streaming, especially with 3 games in 4 nights. For the Nuggets, I probably look to Christian Brown, even though I think Julian Strouder is the better player. And if we hear word that Strouder does start over Brown, I would stream him everywhere over Christian Brown. But if it's 29 minutes Brown, 22 Strouder, those extra minutes just give that little bit of a nod there to Brownie, and that would push him into that territory of someone to pay some more attention to. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. You might be looking to go to the Nuggets' first game of the season. You might be looking for tickets to another event, a concert, a musical, theatre, baseball. I don't know. Whatever it is, though, Game Time and Game Time Picks is going to be able to help you out. Game Time Picks is awesome. It helps you find the easiest way to get the tickets. It cuts through the fluff. It presents you the best options out there instead of having to sift through all of the different ticket options. You can go and check out all of the different parts and pieces on the Game Time app as well, including all of their different views, the Game Time Picks, of course, the all-in pricing, which you can toggle on so that you don't get surprised by transaction fees. The price just shows up as it is right there. You've got the zone deals, the flash deals, the lowest price guarantee, the event cancellation protection, so many different features on the Game Time app. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create the account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. There is one more game. One more game on Thursday for us to take a look at, and it's the second appearance for the Minnesota Timberwolves, and it is the first appearance for your Sacramento Kings. Now, for the last 2 years, the Kings have been probably the healthiest team in the NBA. Oh, but we had Fox and Herter injured. Yep, you did towards the end of last season. Monk. But they have been, over the last 2 years, admittedly, the Thunder were healthier, much healthier last season. But over the last 2 years, the Kings have had extraordinarily good health situations. They had a lot of guys on the injury report. No Devin Carter, no Orlando Robinson. Both Malik Monk and DeMar DeRozan are probable. DeRozan had a family thing. It looks like that he and Monk will both be okay to play, but we've always just got to watch it, but probable tags are fine. Kevin Herter and Trey Lyles. Herter had the shoulder issue. He's ready to go. Trey Lyles had a groin issue. He's ready to go. Now, Mike Brown said something interesting yesterday. He said, yeah, when Kevin Herter is available, he will start. So is he going to start in this one? Straight off the bat? I wouldn't roster him outside of streaming, but is that what's going to happen? That seems crazy, but we'll find out. In terms of schedule, Minnesota has Thursday, Saturday left and 3 in week 2, and Sacramento goes Thursday, Saturday with 4 in week 2. The Kings are 1 point favorite here. That's what I mean by crazy lines. Yeah, I know that the home team, the light the beam, you get the advantage at home, 3 points. But I think the Wolves are just significantly better. Yes, it was bad from them in opening night against the Lakers, so maybe that's part of it. But like having the Nuggets and the Kings both favorite against the Western Conference's 2 best teams last season is curious. It's curious. Actually misspoke earlier. I said that the Thunder were better than the Nuggets last season. I think they might have been 1 win different. It wasn't that much different. Anyway, my bad if I did misspeak there. For the Wolves, we need to watch Mike Conley because he played 20 minutes in game 1. He looked bad. He looked old. I don't believe that the plan will be for him to play 20 minutes a night. But if he does it again, then we panic. And I know this didn't work yesterday, which I do apologize. If that does happen and he's a 20-minute a night player, we jack him off.
Get that garbage out of here.
I think we're good. The Kings, DeMar DeRozan, but that's a corollary. Like, what do we want to see with DeRozan and Fox and Sabonis? Where does the usage go? Where do the assists go? How do they work together? How do they defend? How do they space the floor? Big questions. Let's see that. The stream guys, Jaden McDaniels again, stunk. Probably not going to get 5,016 minutes would be my guess. And his usage was actually up at like 24%. I don't think that's a repeatable thing, but it's interesting. So yeah, he's back on the stream menu. And for the Kings, when you're looking for defensive stats and bushels of threes, Keon Ellis. Now, his upside is limited if he does come off the bench because we know the story with Mike Brown. If Herter hits his first 2 shots, Ellis will go out the back and just sniff liniment for the rest of the game. But if Herter misses a few, Ellis will bang in, play 30, and off we go. But that is going to be all up and down. It's going to be very hard to know. That is what Mike Brown does. That's what he's continually done. And that is what he'll continue to do with this one. But as a streamer, Keon Ellis is in the mix there. Let's take a look at the schedule. There is no Thursday, Friday, back-to-back. The only sort of way you can get a 2-for-1 is by going the Thunder on Thursday, Saturday, so we don't need to dive too much into that part of the schedule play. So let's get chunky instead. Let's focus on our love of thickness and talk about the next 5 days. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. These are the guys who are all available in big chunks of leagues, chunks again, who will play 3 games over the next 5 nights. Jeremy Sohan, Alex Sarr, Karis LeVert, Wendell Carter Jr., Dyson Daniels. All those guys are available in tons of leagues, points leagues, category leagues. Have a look how your roster sets out, but the majority of those, maybe except Carter, I think all of those should be on all 12-team rosters. Carter's borderline, but with 3 games in 5 nights, you get interested in it. The last name on the list is the horse Keldon Johnson, because he fits into my, he'll probably be available in more deeper formats because he's under 30% rostered on our advanced metrics, so it means he probably is there for 14s and 16s. The Spurs, 3 games, 5 nights, no Devin Vassell. Let's go. Something a little bit more intriguing there for him. So that is something to watch for. And just, again, we're taking advantage of short-term schedule bumps. Now let's look at some streaming options specifically on Thursday's game. We'll start with the streams of the day. Again, we have the specific roster cutoffs we're using here, but just go down the list and take a look, and we'll go through more specific stuff later on in terms of the value of these guys. But at the moment, for the cutoffs that I'm using, a 10-teamer is Russ Westbrook. He's around. Points categories, that's a very, very valid streamer for Thursday. Denver Nuggets legend, Russell Westbrook. 12-teamer, Keldon Johnson. He fits the bill. 14-teamer, Keon Ellis. He fits the bill. 16-team guy. This guy's available everywhere. Luguentz Dort. Now, I know that you all have to downgrade him because he's from Canada, but he's still available, and he's still going to get minutes at a big role. He's like 4% rostered or something, 8%. It's something ridiculous. And I don't like Lu Dort as a fantasy player at all. But that is you can't avoid it. In a Yahoo points format, Jeremy Sohan is widely available and shouldn't be. So he's a great streamer and an ad. And then for ESPN points, Al Horford doesn't hit he didn't grade out higher than Sohan for Thursday, but in a category league, he's a must roster. In a points league, he's more borderline. But ESPN points, Horford's value does go up. Now, he's going to sit back-to-backs, we know that, but he's available everywhere. Well, that's not true. He's not available everywhere. He's available in a lot of different spots, Al Horford. So for ESPN points leagues, when you are looking for that extra stream guy, Horford's going to be someone for you. I would be very, very interested in using him. He was very good yesterday against the Knicks, and I think he'll be fine again. They are going to play him 29 to 30 minutes most nights until Porzingis returns, and that's good. Today's episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Yes, Prize Picks, the best place for you to get real money sports action. Over 10 million members now, and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You go in and you pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot at up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long at Prize Picks. You can now win up to 100 times your money, as I said, on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. It is the best place, Prize Picks, to get real money action. Real money sports action. Join the over 10 million users and sign up today. And when you do sign up today, you get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive that $50 bonus. It is guaranteed. You might be in there and going, do you think that Justin Jefferson is going to get more than 83.5 yards next week? Will Christian McCaffrey even play? I never know. But get in there, talk mess with your friends, hot takes, and win real money, football season, basketball season, whatever sport it is that you are interested in. So download the app today and use the code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app. The code is LOCKEDONNBA. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. Let's take a look at the last bunch of stream options for the day. And we'll head across to look at where we start. 10-team leagues. Let's go there first. Again, if you're in a 10-teamer, this is where you start your perusal. If you're in deeper, start here as well. And you just go down the list and see who fits and who makes sense. Russell Westbrook, Keldon Johnson, Keon Ellis, Bilal Coulibaly, Lu Dort, Payton Pritchard. With only 4 games on, there's actually quite a lot of good stream values, and all these players will have some appeal for a 10-teamer if they're there for your league. So keep a lookout on that. Again, don't think that the 10-team ones are only for 10s, because we're just, especially on a 4-game day, there's just going to be guys who are much shallower or much lower in their owner percentage or roster percentage that you can easily go in and grab them in deeper formats. After that first 6, the next 6 guys qualify for my 12-team stream list. We're talking Fanapants, Christian Brown. Fanapants is Kevin Herter, by the way. Christian Brown, Jaden McDaniels, Luke the Unicornetto, Cornette, Harrison. Oh, no, we haven't done it, but we should do it now. First one of the year. The pencil, Harrison Barnes. Barnesy. And Najee Marshall is the last 12-team player there. For deeper formats, 14 teams and deeper, Cason Wallace, Corey Kispert, we're talking about guys who want to play roles. Wallace could get 5 steals. Easy. But he might play 24 minutes. Or he might play 18 minutes. Or he might shoot poorly. Or he might shoot awesomely. He's good there. Corey Kispert. Marvin Bagley, I expect to be the backup to Jonas Valanciunas. Now, that one could completely fall flat. But I do think Bagley's the backup. The starter for the Spurs should be Julian Champagnie. So Bubbles will probably only play 21, 22 minutes, but he can hit a few threes. He can get some defensive stats and out-of-position blocks. We've got Peyton Watson on there and Isaiah Joe as well. If you want someone who's got the upside of hitting 7 triples, well, that's what Joe does. Not much else, but that is what he does. And lastly, we look at some streamers for Yahoo Points Leagues, sort of focused on the 10 to 12 team league formats. There's 6 names who are rostered they're available in over half of leagues. Jeremy Sohan, Alex Sarr, Al Horford, Rusty Westbrook, Malik Monk, and of course, to round things off, the horse, Keldon Johnson. That is it. That is our preview. That is our streaming guide for the games on Thursday. And after that, that means every team in the NBA will have played their first game. So then we are off and we are absolutely rolling. Don't forget to follow this podcast and subscribe and thumb it up and all of that stuff. Hopefully we can hit the 80K on YouTube really, really quickly. And then we push forward to 100K soon. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.